Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Occult Perspectives. We have finally reached the day. I woke up today and saw that we have 2,000 subscribers. So I figured I would go ahead and do a live stream today. Go on a walk. It's glorious outside. Feels good to get out and move around. Spent the last few days kind of sick and pent up in the house, so it's nice to get out and get moving. So yeah, this channel's come a long way. I started it back in January of 2021, I believe is what it was. So yeah, it's crazy to think it's been like 4 years now. Time really does fly. A lot has happened since then. We've covered lots of different topics on this channel. Started out with just basic ceremonial magic, relaxation ritual, things of that nature. There was a video on tarot cards, I believe, there in the beginning. Covered some starseed stuff, LBRP, Freemasonry. Channel kind of evolved. Covered a lot of angelic stuff. Then I think like 2.5 years in, started discovering more of the left-hand path type stuff and started covering that on the channel. So I feel like this channel has been a good variety of different things. I hope that everyone's been able to like learn something from it. That's kind of what I've just wanted it to be, was like a repository of my experiences and some of my perspectives. I feel like I try to explain things in a way that's pretty unique. Everyone kind of has their own little spin on the occult, esoterica in general. So I kind of try to bring my own perspective, unique perspective to some degree. Deb, what's up? How are you? I'm finally feeling fucking better. Jeez Louise, the past 3 days kind of sucked, but this is glorious. I think it's like 81 out here now, maybe. If it's not, it feels like it anyway. So yeah, after like just healing up and stuff, I didn't want to run and quite push it yet today, but I am going to take me a good, probably 2.5 mile walk. I'd say it's at least a good 2.5 miles. Might be closer to like 3, doing the big square around here. Just walking in a big old square, looking at the matrix of houses all around me. Oh, here, I'll switch the camera around, that way you can kind of see what it looks like. Houses, condos, little condos around here, lots and lots. It's so quiet around here. It's amazing how many people actually live, in this section of town, and you almost wouldn't even know it. It's just so quiet. Like, everyone kind of keeps to themselves so much that it just seems like a ghost town most of the time. And then occasionally I come running through or walking through, and I'm just this big ball of fire, just kind of coming through, burning everything in my path. No, just joking. Nice area. Yeah, it is a nice area. And then the woods are across the street, looking back that way. That's the woods right there. And there's like a big cornfield behind all that. Now, one really cool spot I was telling you about there for meditation, it's like on the opposite side of the woods from what I just showed you, like right by that cornfield. So that's like definitely the most secluded spot back there, I would say. I just found out, well, I guess I'm not supposed to say yet, so I won't say. But something about a new building that they're putting up around this area. So apparently it's not public knowledge yet, so I'll keep that to myself. Yep, very quiet neighborhood, which I mean I like quiet, don't get me wrong, because there's nothing more annoying sometimes than like loud neighbors. I guess that's kind of who I used to be. You know, I had the drum set. But really, as long as you keep the doors closed, sometimes in the summer you got like the doors open and stuff, so the sound is just going out the windows and the neighbors can definitely hear it. It's not that like we were never just there. I feel like that's the thing I miss the most is like not being able to play drums. So, I just tapped my Bluetooth too. Hopefully you can still hear me. I haven't quite figured out what the buttons on the sides do. I think you can like turn it on and off and then turn the volume up and down. Thank you for the thumbs ups too. Let's see, we got 2 thumbs up and 2 people in the chat. Yeah, I guess I've pretty much always lived in quiet places though, for the most part, quiet neighborhoods. There's a little pond thingy over here. Looks a little like overflowing maybe from, we had some rain, quite a bit of rain yesterday. Yeah, it's mostly nice and sunny today. Kalechi Aguocha. I'm probably butchering that. I'm sorry. How are you doing? Thank you for joining the chat. Welcome in. Welcome in. Yeah, I've got like senior center areas over here too, so kind of like the housing for the elderly and stuff. Looks pretty nice over here for the most part. Oh. But yeah, if there's anything you guys want to discuss, as of late, I haven't really. There are a couple topics that I did put in my notes as far as like topics I was thinking about talking about, just like ideas, and I could kind of elaborate on those ideas. I could maybe take a peek at those notes and see what I had written. There might be an interesting topic if you guys are not thinking of anything in particular that you would like to talk about. So. Let me see if I can pop on over to those notes, look at them real quick. So I had written in my notes, when you don't integrate the darkness within you, it manifests outside of you. So it's because there's kind of always this idea of like, it's always us versus them. It's always a battle. There's always an external enemy. But when you can take the understanding, the archetypal understanding of what that adversary, like externalized in front of you, represents, what does it represent within yourself that you're not embracing? Is there an inner devil or an inner demon that you've kind of pushed away or you've kind of demonized, and it's been so separated from your own self. It's become a part that's been so cut off from you, it manifests as something literally standing in front of you, outside of you. And I even used to say stuff like, I wish I could just take all the things that piss me off. I wish I could take all the things that have brought me anger, pain, all of those things, and put them into a form so that I could fight that form. That way I'm not just, it's, that way you're just not trying to make changes in the world where you think you're going to make a change, but really you're just adding to the problem. You could have everything that's wrong right there in front of you so you could confront it. Basically all the things that bother you, etc., that you see as quote unquote the enemy, you being able to manifest right in front of you in some kind of form, and then you could take on that form. You could finally fight it. All the things in the world that bother you, like, I don't know, just a total reconciliation. But I don't know that's not really the healthiest view, and it's one that I had for a while. I'm like, oh, I wish I could just take all the evil in the world, blah blah blah, and just destroy it at once, but it's so much deeper than that. Like, the forms that are existing outside of ourselves, yes, they are real, but kind of in a way, like, they're almost not. It's like very illusory. It's like we're creating this illusion so that we can pinpoint those things within ourselves and work on them and alchemize them. So if there's something that keeps reoccurring or reappearing in front of you, that's showing you something. I also wanted to break down, check this out real quick. Check this out. Look at that tall ass crane. Construction. What does that symbolize right now? For me, that just symbolizes like my own construction, my own reconstruction. Maybe, perhaps. Because there's been a lot of deconstructing type energies. It's very much like having to rebuild myself. It's almost like, I am like an infant again in so many ways, having to relearn, basically starting over in a lot of ways, So in some ways I'm really strong, in other ways I'm really frail. And staying active and staying physical and keeping in motion really helped me lately. It's been hard to even, like, when I'm at home, to even sit down and get comfortable enough to read or meditate or do stuff like that recently. It's so much easier to keep my body moving, to keep it moving. Yeah, going back to that idea of like evil or whatever, we see all the movies and stuff with different archetypal forces kind of like going at each other. There's always the quote unquote the good, the quote unquote the evil. So I kind of want to watch the movie Sleeping Beauty again, the Disney movie, because I know there are all kinds of there's all kinds of deep symbolism in that movie. Maleficent is definitely like a Lilith type figure. She's very much like that, where it gets to the dragon too, that the knight fights. So for any of you that have read, Deb got me into Asenath Mason's The Draconian Ritual book, which is a really great beginner book for anyone on the left-hand path or that is wanting to work with the Draconian current. It's actually like, that's the information I'm kind of most interested in studying right now, to be honest, as far as a lot of the esoteric stuff goes. There's been a lot of other branches of mysticism. I just feel like I've kind of like read a lot of the same stuff. It's the same information over and over. So some of these darker mysteries, they bring like a lot of new insight, a lot of new knowledge, and ways of perceiving these occult forces. So I find it to be very refreshing. It's something new to learn. It's something new to look forward to learning about. But anyway, what I was getting at is Asenath Mason in that book. She refers to the knight. The knight is like the New World Order. He represents the New World Order. And the dragon represents the chaos, the primal chaos that Maleficent turns into. So it's a battle between these two archetypal forces. We think of the light side, this perfect order, this perfect symmetry, this, basically world that's governed by perfect law and perfect order. And then on the other end of the spectrum of the archetypal spectrum is the dragon, which represents destruction, renewal, rebirth, right? All of these things. It's the negative charge. It's the breaking down component. So are any of is one good or is one evil? Not really. They're just different parts of different sides of the spectrum, really the energetic spectrum. And if you want to get really deep into Hermetics, there aren't even really opposites. It's not like it's just different degrees of the same manifestation, the one. Different manifestations of the one in a cosmic play of quote unquote good and evil. Because if there was no conflict at all, there would be no life at all, right? There has to be some kind of spark. There has to be some kind of catalyst. If it were just peace and tranquility all the time, there would never be growth. As much as I like the idea of that, I like the idea of living in a shire where everything's just really freaking peaceful all the time, All the hobbits just enjoying the good ale and enjoying their pipe weed and singing songs together. So yeah, something that I did find something in my notes that's a topic that Deb and I talk about a lot, actually, is balancing and honoring both your demonic connections, your demonic influences, and your angelic connections. Honor them both. Don't have to be one's better than the other. It's more about just what you need in a particular moment, because those energies, we're made up of both. We have moments in our lives where we need to enter those denser states, those more demonic states, to be with the darkness, to be with, our quote unquote, what society might be, say is unacceptable. You need to just be with those things and not try to hide them away from yourself. And then there's going to be times that you really want to embrace more of the positive aspects of life, the simpler aspects, you don't want to be so dragged down by dense energies, and you need to be in a spot where you're more positive. So it's a very nuanced, thing, and it's more about where you're at, where are you at? What energies seem to work better with you? And it also depends on how you work with the energies. So when you work with angels, are you doing a LVRP? Or you can just, use a sigil and invoke an angel if you want to. There's different ways to work with, the different energies, the different forces. So kind of got to figure out what's best for you. Another thing we talk about a lot too is not doing a whole bunch of practices on top of each other. Because I don't know, for me, the older I get, I did just an LVRP the other day when I was kind of still in the height of my sickness. And it, doing just that, almost fucked me up. It made me feel really unbalanced. And sometimes we can just push our bodies and we're projecting our mental mind out there too much. Sometimes I'm just working so hard energetically or visually within my mind's eye to visualize these things. It takes a lot of energy to do these practices. And if you're just doing one practice on top of the other, on top of the other, on top of the other, It's going to be too much. Speaking of too much, look how many fucking ants are down here. This is insane. Yes, that whole blob is ants. I don't remember the last time I've ever seen that many ants. That is insane. I wonder if something like died here. That's kind of what it maybe looks like. It's like the freaking army of orcs in the Two Towers. When Saruman's standing on top of that tower, you shall eat man flesh. Eat man flesh, little ants. Wow, that's crazy. I thought that was dirt at first. That was not dirt. Straight up ants, the whole thing. I feel sorry for whoever steps in that. How are you doing? Chloe, YouTube Gaming says. And Steven, YouTube Gaming. I'm doing all right. I've been sick past few days. Doing better now. Even just getting out on a walk is like really good for me. Just moving around. I need more I feel like for the past many years I've tried to spend so much time in isolation and in my mind and stuff. I'm kind of getting to the point now where I want to do more physical things. I want to get out and either just go places or I don't know, anything to kind of get out and get moving, because it seems like it's a really good at distracting me from a lot of the physical pain symptoms that I deal with almost every day. If I can get out, even if I'm just at work, which I prefer not to be, but at least I'm moving around. At least I'm staying active to some degree. So as we get older, it was nice in school because you had you were kind of forced to, almost in a way. You don't think of it like that when you're in school, but you had sports, you had all of these different things to kind of keep you in a healthy routine, keep you moving. As we get older, we don't have a lot of as many healthy outlets. It seems like we have to really stay on top of ourselves to maintain health and maintain proper physicality and all these things. So it's it takes more self-discipline as you get older. Yep. Literal ant hill. All right. Chloe and Steven, YouTube Gaming, say, how's everyone doing? Glad you're doing okay. Yeah, me too. Me too. Some days it gets really fucking hard. I'm like, man, I'm hurting. I'm hurting, but my spirit's strong. So I am a fighter. I have to be. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Not too bad. All right. What else? I did have something written in my notes too that I see we've still got one person live in here. All knowledge leads to the devil. That was something I wrote in my notes too. Which I think is really interesting because no matter where you start, it seems like no matter where people start on this path, on this occult initiatory journey, for certain people anyway, I guess this is just for certain people, but it seems like eventually you get to the point in your studies that everything kind of ends up pointing to it's about knowledge, and a lot of people talk about Luciferian ideology or philosophy like it's a bad thing, but no, I mean, it's people demonize knowledge. They demonize the serpent in the garden, right? Because the serpent promised knowledge. So all these occult teachings, all of these esoteric teachings, they bring you to knowledge, which is knowledge of self, right? And you're going to meet the devil. Like, knowledge leads to the devil. Whatever that means for you. There's different archetypal conscious social memory complexes out there, which you could identify, the devil or Lucifer or whatever you want to. But these things also are correspondent with